Who is a potential dark horse team you could see winning it all, Garion?
So I don't know if these guys count as a dark horse because I would have considered them favorites in the East or among the favorites in the East coming into the season, but considering where they sit in the standings right now, they're a play-in team. So the Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, this is just a team that has the potential to be great. And sort of like I was talking about with the Warriors, one thing you have to kind of do at the NBA midseason point, especially until you hit that trade deadline, is think about what these teams could be at that point in the season. And there is no bigger question mark. There's no bigger if in the NBA than Ben Simmons right now. Can Ben Simmons come back and play for the 76ers? I guess that's a possibility. But what will Ben Simmons turn into? What asset is going to come back to Philadelphia that they can actually use on the court? I know, what a concept to have someone who plays basketball. So what will this team look like? I just think they have the highest ceiling of all of the teams that right now aren't like in the thick of the playoff picture in either the East or the West Conference.
Okay, Nick, dark horse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get like an Atlanta Braves situation like we got last year. I mean, that's just not how the NBA works. But that said, you know, we had the Heat a few years back make it in the bubble. And then, of course, you have the Suns this past year. As much as they've been, you know, great in everything, that don't get me wrong, they were still a surprise. And then the Bucks making it too. I mean, not as much of a surprise, but we all thought the Nets were going to get it. But then injuries come into play. And now within the era of COVID too, you have that to factor in where you could lose a guy for a game and then that can change everything. So under that like possibility happening, the Jazz, I know they're not like a dark horse team because they're still high up in the standings, but I look at them as a team like normally I would say, no, you know, it's going to be the Warriors. You know, in years past, I would say the Lakers. And then over in the Eastern Conference, it's like it's the Bucks and the Nets right now. I wouldn't really take the Jazz seriously, but considering injuries and considering how well the Jazz have done, when you look at their efficiency, they're the most offensive efficient team in the league, and they're sixth in defensive efficiency. And they've had different guys step up through the course of the season, like Gobert earlier in the year, and then he kind of took a step back, and other guys have stepped forward. So not really a great dark horse team, but this is like the NBA. Like you're not going to have that kind of thing happen where like you did with Major League Baseball. It's just not how the league typically works. But those teams that are like good, but you wouldn't think they're contending for the finals, have been sneaking their way in the past few years. And the Jazz are a team that could do that.
Yeah, Garion goes with the team that finished with the best record in the Eastern Conference last season. You go with the team that finished with the best record in the Western Conference last season. And also the Jazz, one of the most well-rounded teams in the NBA. Garion, Nick, good stuff. Thanks for the help, guys.